Stop loving men who leave you lonely. How Black women can activate their third eye and reclaim their power. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, hosted by LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm so grateful you're here today because we're about to dive into something that will fundamentally shift how you see love, attachment, and your own power. Recently, I had the honor of interviewing Brittany Janey, a woman whose wisdom is transforming how Black women navigate relationships and self worth. Brittany is doing sacred work in this world, helping women release the cape of misery they've been wearing in the name of love and instead step into their intuitive power. Her insights are changing lives, one conversation at a time, and today I'm going to share what she taught me with you. Let me start with something that might surprise you, maybe even challenge you. We've been told our whole lives that love requires sacrifice. That if we want to keep a man, we need to love harder, give more, endure longer. We've been taught that loneliness is the enemy and that staying even in misery is better than being alone. But here's the truth Brittany Janey shared with me, and it's a truth that will set you free. True empowerment for Black women in relationships isn't about loving harder or sacrificing your happiness to keep a man. It's about activating your third eye, your intuition, to recognize your worth early so you never settle for loneliness disguised as love. This challenges everything we've been told. It flips the script entirely. Self love isn't selfish, it's the ultimate retention strategy, it's the foundation upon which everything else is built. And when you understand that, when you truly internalize it, your entire life shifts. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, but I've been alone before and it hurt. I hear you, sis. I see you. I understand that pain because it's real. Let me ask you this: what hurts more, temporary loneliness or permanent misery? What erodes your power faster? A season of solitude or years of sacrificing your peace to keep someone who was never meant to stay? Think about that for a moment. Really think about it. Because here's what Brittany Janey taught me: our third eye, our intuition, is our superpower. It's that inner knowing that whispers when something isn't right. It's that gut feeling that tells you when you're giving too much and receiving too little. It's that spiritual radar that detects when you're confusing attachment with love. And when we tap into it, when we truly listen to it, we start to understand who we are and our purpose. We learn what to do and how to handle certain situations without sacrificing ourselves in the process. Let me share something Brittany said that stopped me in my tracks. She said, I always loved on men and I would try my best to keep them by making sure they were happy no matter how miserable I had to be because loneliness wasn't good for me. I always said that I can't get attached because everybody leaves, whether they're dead or just leave. So love how you're going to love, but never get attached. Now, at 38, that was something I should have never stuck to because the man I love has walked away. Pause. Let that sink in. At 38, Brittany realized that protecting herself from attachment by over loving and under receiving didn't protect her at all. It left her miserable, it left her depleted, and ultimately it left her alone. Anyway, the very thing she feared, she created by refusing to honor her intuition and set boundaries. This is the cycle so many of us are trapped in. We love hard. We give everything. We silence our inner voice because we're terrified of being abandoned. But here's what Brittany's story teaches us: abandonment isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. Abandoning yourself is. When you abandon yourself to keep someone else, you lose the very essence of who you are. You become a shell. You become a version of yourself that you don't even recognize. And that, sis, is the real tragedy. Let me give you three key insights from my conversation with Brittany Janey. insights that will help you break free from this cycle and step into your soft girl era. Insight number one: your third eye, your intuition, is your superpower. Tap into it to discern your purpose and handle situations without self sacrifice. When you activate your intuition, you stop reacting from fear and start responding from wisdom. You stop overgiving to people who underappreciate you. You stop confusing their need for you with love. You start seeing clearly. And clarity, sis, is freedom. Clarity allows you to make decisions that honor you, not just decisions that keep the peace. Clarity helps you understand that your worth is not determined by who stays or who leaves. Your worth is inherent, it's non negotiable. And when you operate from that place, everything changes. Insight number two: stop confusing attachment with love. Love freely, but protect your peace. Loneliness is temporary, but misery from staying erodes your power. Attachment is rooted in fear. It says, I need you to stay so I don't feel empty. Love is rooted in freedom. It says, I want you to stay, but I'm whole whether you do or not. When you love from a place of wholeness, you attract people who honor that. When you love from a place of fear, you attract people who exploit it. And here's the thing, sis: you deserve love that honors you. You deserve love that sees you. You deserve love that stays not because you're convenient, but because you're irreplaceable. Insight number three: at any age, like 38, it's never too late to rewrite your love script. Prioritizing self happiness attracts partners who stay for your light, not your endurance. Brittany's story is proof of this. She spent years believing that attachment was dangerous and that loving hard without boundaries was the answer. But at 38, she's rewriting that script. She's learning that her happiness matters, that her peace is non negotiable, that her intuition is trustworthy. And that shift, that recalibration, is what will attract the kind of love she deserves. Because when you prioritize yourself, you send a message to the universe that you are worth prioritizing, and the universe responds accordingly. Now, let me show you what this looks like in real life. Let me share three stories of Black women who transformed their relationship struggles into professional empowerment by embracing intuition and self love. First, Taraji P. Henson. You know her from Empire, from Hidden Figures, from her Golden Globe winning performances. But what you might not know is her journey from codependent relationships to self empowered singlehood. Taraji endured toxic relationships and abandonment fears. She sacrificed her happiness to keep partners, all while navigating the pressures of Hollywood, the industry that chews people up and spits them out, the industry that demands perfection while offering very little grace. But Taraji activated her intuition. She set boundaries. She focused on self love. And she channeled that energy into her business, TPH by Taraji, a hair care line she launched in 2020. Raised in Washington, D.C., Taraji faced single motherhood and relational heartbreaks. She vowed not to get attached while overgiving love. Sound familiar? But she found peace in purposeful singledom. She built a thriving brand, and she now inspires Black women to prioritize self worth, influencing beauty industry inclusivity. Taraji's story shows us that shifting from attachment fears and misery for love to intuitive self empowerment, even at a mature age, fuels entrepreneurial success. She didn't wait for a man to validate her. She didn't wait for someone to give her permission to be great. She gave herself that permission. And in doing so, she created a legacy. Second, Iyanla Van Zant, life coach, author, spiritual leader. Iyanla evolved from abusive relationships to spiritual leadership. She repeated cycles of overloving men at her expense. She feared loneliness, and that fear led to self misery. She stayed when she should have left. She gave when she should have received. She silenced her intuition because she thought love required sacrifice. But she embraced her third eye spiritual awakening. She detached from unhealthy attachments. She built an empire on self healing. Iyanla survived domestic violence and loss. At 30 plus, she shifted from keeping men happy to self purpose. She wrote bestsellers like Acts of Faith. She hosts Fix My Life on OWN, and she empowers Black communities via healing workshops, normalizing intuitive detachment. Iyanla's story exemplifies using intuition to break free from sacrificial love patterns, aligning perfectly with purpose driven non attachment. She teaches us that healing is not linear, that self love is not selfish, that choosing yourself is not abandonment, it's alignment. Third, Melody Hobson, Starbucks board chair, investor, financial powerhouse. Melody navigated relational doubts to pinnacle success. She faced early fears of abandonment in high stakes environments. She was tempted to over accommodate, to shrink herself to fit into spaces that weren't designed for her, to sacrifice her voice to keep the peace. But she trusted her inner intuition for boundaries. She focused on purpose over attachment. Melody married on her terms. She amassed over $4 billion in wealth. Raised in Chicago, she overcame personal insecurities around love and loss to lead Ariel Investments. She became the first Black woman president of Starbucks board. She chairs DreamWorks, and she paves the way for Black women in finance, modeling balanced love without sacrifice. Melody's story demonstrates late blooming shift to intuitive self prioritization, avoiding misery for authentic connections and leadership. She shows us that you don't have to choose between love and success. You don't have to choose between softness and strength. You can have both, but only when you honor yourself first. These three women, Taraji, Iyanla, Melody, they all learned what Brittany Janey is teaching us today, that your third eye is your guide, that attachment rooted in fear will always lead to misery. That self love is the foundation for every other kind of love, and that it's never too late to rewrite your script. So here's my question for you, sis. Are you loving from your third eye or your fear of loneliness? Are you staying because it's right or because you're afraid of being alone? Are you honoring your intuition or silencing it to keep the peace? Brittany Janey's wisdom calls us to a higher standard. She's inviting us into our soft girl era, where we release the cape of misery, where we stop confusing endurance with love, where we activate our intuition and trust it fully. This is the sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. It's not a trend, it's a lifestyle rebellion, a deep exhale from the Superwoman script, a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. Because here's the truth, sis. When you love from your third eye, when you protect your peace, when you prioritize your happiness, you don't lose love, you gain it. You attract partners who stay for your light, not your endurance. You build relationships rooted in freedom, not fear. You step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. So I'm challenging you today. I'm challenging you to stop loving men who leave you lonely. I'm challenging you to activate your third eye and reclaim your power. I'm challenging you to choose yourself, not out of bitterness, but out of love, not out of anger, but out of wisdom, not out of fear, but out of faith. This week, journal one boundary you'll set in love or business to honor your purpose. Just one. Maybe it's saying no to a request that drains you. Maybe it's ending a conversation that disrespects you. Maybe it's choosing your peace over someone else's comfort. Write it down, commit to it, and watch how it transforms your attachments into aligned abundance. Because when you honor yourself, you teach others how to honor you. When you protect your peace, you create space for joy. When you activate your intuition, you align with your purpose. And when you align with your purpose, you become unstoppable. Brittany Janey is making the world a better place by teaching Black women that self love isn't selfish, it's sacred. And I'm honored to share her wisdom with you today. The question is no longer whether you deserve love. You do. The question is, are you willing to love yourself enough to demand it? Are you willing to activate your third eye and trust what it reveals? Are you willing to walk away from loneliness disguised as love and walk toward the peace you've been craving? The choice is yours, sis, and the time is now. Stop loving men who leave you lonely. Start loving yourself like your life depends on it, because it does.